So today, let us go ahead and learn about the different models, what we are going to go ahead and learn with this. So what are these models? How we are going to go and learn these models? See, whenever we say that we have an approach to learn, in the sense, there are multiple approaches, there are multiple ways where we can go ahead and say that I'm going to work in this way, I'm going to work in this way. We can say that. If you want to build a software, you have multiple approaches which can be taken care here. The mainly first and foremost approach, in the sense the parent, is that we call as an SDLC, that is software development life cycle. So what is this SDLC in the sense? How am I trying to understand this word SDLC? What would be the way to go ahead and learn this? See, whenever we go ahead, whenever we say that basically I need to learn them, I need to take care of them, I am supposed to understand the flow of a the model here. So what is this flow? What is the way of understanding this particular approach here? Now, let me just take a simple understanding here. Let us just take that, okay, we need to build an house here. Okay, we'll just say that I'm going to build an house so that it would be easy for us to go ahead. So we're just saying that, okay, this is how the house is going to constructed for us. Okay, so where it is going to look like this. So they want a basic, a window as well, a one door as well. They will need to go ahead and construct like this. So this is a house what is supposed to be built in now. So if we want to build a house, we cannot just randomly go, we cannot just say that randomly, I'll build an house, I'm going to take care of it. We cannot do like that. What are we supposed to do? What is the approach that we are trying to follow here when we are trying to go ahead and build a house? First and foremost, what we'll do, we'll collect the requirements, in the sense, what is the amount is required, how much of sand, or either by wooden pieces, or it is by the basic amount of cement, or basically the labors, amount of water. We are going to check all the basic requirement, what is there, what is not there, every basic things we are going to go and choose here. Because we cannot just blindly go ahead, we cannot just add them whenever we require. It is not possible for us to go ahead and learn like this. Okay, that is good. Then what we are going to do? If once I particularly collected the requirement, I gathered each and everything, I cannot go and say once again blindly that go and start with that. So we have told that my house should come like this. So who will be knowing that? Now Rohit might be knowing that my house should come like this. Rohit might be having an imagination that the house should be like this. But the constructors, they wouldn't be having an idea. They wouldn't be getting to know how to take care of this. So at that time, you're going to create a design. So, which is going to help you to show or to tell to the people that this is how the house should be constructed. This is how the house should be going ahead here. Okay, fine, that is good. We gave a design as well. They are starting the construction, they are taking care of it. What is the next option we are supposed to do? What is the next way? We'll tell the co-workers or the workers to go and develop or create that or particularly build the house. Okay, we are building the house, we are taking care of it. That is good. What is the next thing we are supposed to do? See, if I'm saying that my house should be like this, so once they are doing that, I cannot blindly go and accept them as well. What am I supposed to do once again? I am supposed to test it. So, as per my instruction, have they basically done it now? In the sense, we won't test it. There will be supervisor who is going to take care, who is going to make sure that the house is getting constructed in a proper way. Okay, fine. That is good to see. What is the next option? See, once after all of this done, now for an example, for Rohit house it is, okay, they're going to call Rohit. They'll say that your house's construction is completed. You need to go ahead, you need to use them. So if I want to go ahead and do that, I won't blindly accept it. What I'll do, I'm going to test it, in the sense I'm going to take care of the testing there. I'm going to see that, okay, as per my expectation, did they construct it? Have they taken care in a proper way? Is there any corrections or anything they have done or not? We would be able to see here. Then last is that maintenance. See, the people who have constructed this and tested them, will ask them, okay, or there will be a period of amount of time by saying that for 1 year, 1.5 years, they are supposed to go and have the construction time, in the sense maintenance. They need to make sure that they're taking care of that. How the particular house is constructed, that is should be overlooked here. So remember that if you want to build a house, you made sure that you're taking this much of approaches here. You made sure that you're going ahead with this number of ways. The same way, whenever if you want to build a complete software and deliver to the customer, I'm going to go ahead with mainly 6 amount of approaches. Okay, that is the software development life cycle. The mainly this is the cycle what we are going to follow. See, each phases, okay, there is a phases, each whatever the phases are there, each is having the prominent role, and me being a test engineer or we being a test engineer, in every place we are going to play a great amount of role. Same great amount of role would be played up here. In what sense you have been saying that, or how we are going to go ahead and work on this? Let me show you here. First and foremost phase, okay, that is requirement analysis. Okay, the as you want to go and create a software, as you want to go and build a software, what is the first job we are going to do? We are going to collect all the required requirement to build a software for us. We are supposed to build. So for to build that software, what are all the required requirements, and the manager or whatever the technical lead, whoever is there, they are going to analyze it. So analysis will be done. So what is there, what is not there, how it is there, okay, what should be done, what should not be done, every set of things would be taken care here. So first thing is that they have been collecting the requirement and they're analyzing it. Okay, what type of analysis would be done here? What is the problem, what is the correction, what is not there? Every set of things would be basically analyzed here. Okay, if we don't analyze here, it would be hard for us to get to know what can be done, what cannot be done, and what is the approach particularly we need to go ahead with this. The second phase, okay, the manager or the technical lead, they collected the requirement, they took out that. There's a second phase called as in design, also called as in the blueprint. Okay, you'll say that, okay, the login button should come here, register should come here, okay, the pages should be like this. You are trying to create a UX UI design here. Okay, UX UI design would be putted up in this particular area. So what is happening here? As per the requirement, the team made sure that they created a prototype, or also called as a blueprint, which shows that how the application would be created. It is showing that how the application would be created. It is going to give us an information here. Clear information, straightforward information. It has been showing up here. Okay, once the design is completed for us, what is the next thing we are trying to do? Then there is the developers. Okay, there is a developers. Okay, it can be front-end developers. Okay, it can be basically the back-end developers. Who is taking the role here? Whose job is to make sure that as per the requirement, as per the design, their job is to develop the software. Okay, they'll make sure that they'll take care of it, they'll properly use of this, and they're going to develop this. Okay, development is in process, development has been taken care. What is the next role they are supposed to do? Meanwhile, so remember that, see, meanwhile they're taking care of the development. We as a test engineers, we are supposed to test them. Okay, we are supposed to make sure that we are testing them properly, so that as per the requirement, see, as per the requirement, have this developers developed or not, we are trying to test with this. Now, whenever I'm testing, whenever I'm taking care of this, I need to be more precise. I need to be more assured here that I, being a tester, having an authority. What type of an authority that? What type of a role I'm trying to go ahead here? See, my job is that, my particular role is that to make sure that I'm delivering a software in such a proper way that there won't be any problem for me. So once I'm going with deployment, see, once I say that yes, only then it will go for deployment. Until and unless I don't say yes, it won't go. So we should always be aware that when it is going to go for deployment, when it is not going to go for deployment. It is very important for us to know about it. So once I said that my particular testing is done, everything is good to go for release, they can go ahead. Now, in the deployment phase, once the code is being pushed to production, from the customer end or from the client end, they are going to perform the testing. So we call it an UAT testing, that is user acceptance testing, where they are going to perform this, where they're going to see that or check that whatever the particular software they have given to us, is it okay, is it worth, is it fine to take ahead to the next particular normal users usage. So if something goes wrong here, tester would be the first person to get questioned. Why? In the sense, because tester was the person who told that yes, it can be released, it can be used by the people. So we need to make sure that basically how we are going to give the release to them. Sorry, it was like just a glitch, okay, which threw me out
Okay.
of the zone. I hope my
All right.
screen is visible, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, fine. So if you could observe here, as I was just speaking about the same here. So the thing is that once we are deploying, okay, if I'm just doing a deployment, I always like basically once the testing is been done, the deployment would be happening. In the deployment, like the DevOps engine is going to push them to the production. They're going to see that it is okay, not okay, everything they're going to check with that. But the thing is that we should be aware, we should be getting to know that if something goes wrong, as I'm saying that if something goes wrong, we would be the first person who is going to be questioned here. We would be the first one. Okay, there's no second thought, there's no second approach with that. Okay, easily they'll ask us, what did you test? How did you test? Why there's a too much of issues from your end? So it would be more questionable to us. So we need to make sure that how it has been taken care of. Okay, so if everything goes good, okay, if everything goes good, then there would be a period called as in maintenance. In the sense, live. The product is live, the software is live, the people are using it, the people are taking care of it. In this moment, if some live issues, so if there is some live issues has been appearing, if something live issues has been going on, then this would be taken care in the maintenance period. So remember that how or particularly in which approach we are going to use. It is very important for us to know like what I'm going to take care, in what approach I'm going to take care, which approach I'm going to take care. It is very important for us to know with that. So the cycle, SDLC, software development life cycle, consists of total 6 phases. That is requirement analysis, design, implementation, testing, deployment, and the maintenance. These are the 6 phases. So in this each phases, so remember that each of them plays an important role. Where in first phase, I'll collect the requirement and analysis. Second phase, we are going to collect the blueprint, or also called as a design. Third phase, where the developers will develop with that. So each and every pages are going to be taken care one after another as per the model what we are going to approach with that. It all depends upon the models what we are going to go ahead, what is the models we are going to take care here. So whenever we go ahead, whenever we say that there is a SDLC, it is the primary stage, initial stage, which is deciding for us, okay, how am I supposed to use them, or what is the way I'm supposed to take care of them. As we said that, see, we can say that, okay, somebody is going to cook. Cooking is a, I'll say that as a master. So under the cooking, I can have multiple number of ways. In the sense, somebody will say that I'm going to cook Indian, somebody will say that I'll go with Italian, somebody will say that it is a French, somebody will say that it is a Portuguese. End of the day, food. Okay, it's a food. The process, the ingredients, or the way, there can be n number of ways with that. Or if I'm giving a more clarity in the sense, initially what used to do whenever the in our like the grandfathers or the previous one, they used to cook. Like if I'm saying that cooking, they used to cook by using the wood fire. Okay, then comes by using the gobar gases. Okay, then came by using the normal LPG gases, then came by using the now the electric stove. So what is happening now each and every time, whenever there is a evolution happening, whenever a new things has been looked out here, there's a new approach has been taken care. But at the end of the day, everybody's cooking only. Nobody's saying that I'm going to do something else. The same approach, I can go ahead and make sure that taking here as well. So now if I want to go ahead, if I want to learn more about this, I'm having multiple approaches what we are going to look ahead here. What are the multiple approaches? See, there's a waterfall model. There is a spiral model. So there is a V&V model. There is a agile model. The prominent models which are used, which are still existing, what would be looked ahead here? Okay, as I'm saying, prominent model. So what is this? See, as I'm saying once again and again, these are the approaches what we are trying to use. In the sense, like for every type of project, every type of software, we cannot say that I'm going to use the same approach. I'm going to go ahead with the same thing. Okay, that can't be that. So as per the particular approach or as per the particular base, I'm going to have the multiple different of approaches what I can go ahead with that. So what are those? How we are going to go ahead and understand the approaches here. Let me go one by one. Let us go with the taking care of this. Okay, so if I'm just bringing the waterfall model, what does the waterfall model looks like and how we are going to take care? So let us build up this. Okay, here comes the waterfall model. See, if you could observe here, or if I'm just bringing up the image like this, okay. See, the thing is that phases remains the same in the sense 5 phases, 6 phases remains the same. The approaches is going to change a bit for us. There's an approach what is going to change. If you could observe here, if you could just look out here, what is happening now or what is the way it is going to happen. So there is a requirement phase. Then it comes to design phase. Then it comes to implementation, verification, then deployment and the maintenance. So what is happening? It is coming from one stage to one stage to one stage to one. It is one-time approach model. We also call them as in the one-time approach model. So first and foremost, who founded out this waterfall model? It was done by Winston W. Royce. He was the person who particularly founded or basically figured out this waterfall model. So this was taken care in the year of 1970. In the year of 1970, Winston W. Royce made sure that they've been finding the waterfall model. See, the main thing is that the waterfall approach is about the, like commonly it was the first approach what we look at is that. In this, mainly the thing is that it is going to go one phase at a time. It is not going to jump. It is not going to every phase at a time. It is not overshooting here. What it is doing, it is going one phase at a time for us. So it would be easy for us to go and access this. So remember that it would be easy for us to go and access this. That is why the waterfall model. The second thing is that we should know. See, it is one phase at a time and there is no looking back of this. In the sense, if I'm just saying that, okay, I need to go back, I need to go back, I need to go back, I need to go back. There is no such approach. In the sense, approach in the sense, we can go ahead, we can work. But for the change of new requirements, if anybody is saying that I need to add the new requirements in this one particular waterfall model, anywhere in between of these phases, it is not entertained. Nobody is going to entertain if they're asking to add a new requirement for us. So we should be knowing that whenever we go ahead, whenever we take care of the waterfall model, it is called as an one-time approach model. Basically one-time approach model where one phase at a time is been completed and the software is been completely given at a one shot. Completely at one shot, we are going to give a complete software to the customer. That is how the waterfall model actually work for us. That is how the waterfall model has been taken care for us in this approach for us. Now, if I'm going ahead here, what are the advantages? Because the phases remains the same, the things remains the same. And one more thing, Rohit, you're saying that the new requirements is not allowed. You're saying that we cannot go back. So for an example, there is a developer who has developed and they've sent the complete application to testing the tester. If tester is finding some issue, he or she cannot send back. Absolutely, they can send back. We are saying that if any new requirement need to be added, it is not allowed. If I'm saying that any new requirement is being allowed, we won't go ahead and perform that. It is not suitable for us to go and perform this. The only thing mainly here in the waterfall model is that if we have the clear requirement or the freeze of requirement or but this basically like migration from one technology to another technology, we are going to go ahead with the waterfall model for us. Now, what are the advantages of waterfall model? See, we are going to first and foremost, the advantages is that quality of the project will be good or software will be good. How come the software will be good, the quality? See, whenever we were discussing, we had a things called as in change of requirements. If they keep on changing the requirement, that would be the reason where the more number of bugs would be there. But when you come up here in the waterfall model, you don't have chances at all, in the sense as the requirement would be freeze. Commonly, our main approach in the sense, the quality would be maintained in a good stage for us. Second thing is that as the quality is good, finding bugs are less. Okay, the finding of bugs are actually less when it compared to there with this. Now, what is the disadvantages of this particular model? Okay, first and foremost, requirement changes are not allowed in between. Okay, so in between, the requirement changes are not allowed. That is one of the biggest disadvantages for us. What is the second thing what we are going to have a problem here? That is mainly testing is done after development. So basically, after the development, we are going to go and perform the testing, which can be a biggest mistake. Why? In the sense, see, if you are having a good amount of developer, that is fine. You say that, yes, I'm having a good amount of developer, I can take ahead this, I can go and approach with that. But if I don't have a good amount of developer, if they are doing some mistakes, if there's any problems with that, that can be causing me a biggest problem with this. So this also called as a one-time approach model. One-time approach model. So along with that, it is preferable when you have the freeze requirements. If you say that I'm having a freeze requirement, then make sure that, then go ahead and say that I'm going to go and perform the, or this approach called as in the waterfall model with that. So it is supposed to be easy for us. Okay. Now, we'll go ahead with the next model called as in the spiral model. What is the spiral model? How I'm going to understand the spiral model? Spiral model is also known as an the version control model. If you could observe here, the spiral model, this is the image representation. How am I supposed to identify, or what is the way of identifying this particularly? See, the thing is that if you could observe here, this was that, okay, the requirements was freezed, I used to take care of it, that won't be a problem. What if, remember that, what if you have a product, that need to be handled, that need to be taken care, which requires continuous integration. In the sense, development should be keep on happening, the development should be keep on performing. Then what type of an actions you're going to go? That is when we go with spiral model, or also called as an version control model. We call them as an version control model. See, this was actually founded by Barry Boehm. Barry Boehm was the person who founded out this in the year of 1986. Okay. Now, if I'm coming back to the image representation here, if you could observe here, cycle is starting here. Okay. Requirement analysis and gathering is done. Design, coding, testing, deployment, maintenance. Same phases were carried out. There is no changes in the phases. There is no problem in the phases as well. There is a phase called as a need for enhancement. What is this phase is about? what are we trying to understand in this phase? What is the approach what we are trying to go ahead with this? Because if I know what is this approach, I'll get to know. In this phase, we are going to discuss, remember that, in this phase, we are going to discuss what is the new requirement that need to be added, or what is the changes in the existing requirement need to be taken, would be put it up in this particular need for enhancement. Now, once they decide that if they want to add new requirement, if they want to changes, do something, for that second cycle now, okay, first version got released. For that, requirement gathering, analysis, design, coding, testing, release, maintenance. Okay, once again, second version got released now. Okay, first version was released here, second version got released. Now, once again, new updation, same flow will be coming. Okay, third version you release. So it is going to go with continuous integration and continuous development of here. So what is going to happen for us in this approach? When this approach has been looked up, that we mainly focus on the products. So if I'm having any set of products, we mainly focus of them to go ahead with this. So it is very important for us to know, it is very important for us to go ahead and get to know that what type of an product I'm trying to use, what type of an approach I'm trying to use with this. So remember that, okay, whenever you say that I have a product, whenever you say that I'm having a particular approach here, make sure that you are specifically going to know that, okay, this type of product, this type of an approach is being used for this type of an models here. Now, this was going to be used when you have a fixed requirement. You say that, yes, I have a fixed requirement, I'll be taking care of this. Now, I'm having a product here which requires continuous integration. Then I'm going to go ahead with the spiral model. Okay, here you might expect a question for this need for enhancement. When you're going to use, how you're going to use that, you might expect a question with that. Okay, so the thing is that, like, we need to know that, okay, when we are going to go ahead with that, when we are going to approach with that, that is very, very important for us to know with this. Now, if I'm going ahead, the thing is that what are the advantages and disadvantages of this? How am I going to go ahead with this? So what is the flow out to understand this? Now, if I'm pulling back here, let me bring back the area here. The first and foremost, advantages. See now, if you could observe here in the cycle, if you could observe, the cycle is there. So if I want it, I can go ahead and change the requirements. Okay, if I want it, I can go ahead and change the requirement. So it would be very, very easy. Okay, remember that it would be very, very easy to go ahead and update the requirements for us. So I can say that requirement changes are allowed. But when it is allowed, after each cycle is completed. After each cycle is completed. So once the cycle is completed only, okay, we are going to particularly go with the requirement changes. Okay, it is very, very important for us to go with that. The second thing is that, okay, so the thing is that particularly how I'm going to go with the second advantage. If I could look out here, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to particularly go and perform the testing again and again. Okay, particularly I'm going to perform the testing again and again. So what is going to happen? What is going to go ahead with that? See, mainly whenever I go ahead with this, when I keep on doing, okay, when I keep on going ahead with the continuous testing again, the thing is that mainly, remember that mainly I'm going to have the good amount of output. So remember that good amount of output will be looked out here. So if I'm just looking back here, the main thing is that testing is done in each cycle. So in every cycle, whenever I'm performing the testing, it is giving me the greater output for me. Remember that it is giving me the greater output. So once, like for an example, if we keep on practicing again and again and again, what would be there? The result would be great with that. Same way here also, when you keep on doing the things again and again and again, automatically the output would be in a greater way for you. Now, what is the disadvantages? how I am supposed to understand the disadvantages here. Now I'll come up here. First and foremost, see, first and foremost, requirement changes are not allowed in between the cycle. Okay. So in between, if anybody is saying that, okay, I need to go ahead and change the requirement, it is not preferable for us. We don't go and say that, okay, you can go ahead and change it. It is not actually preferable. We don't go and tend to do the changes for it. It is not actually okay for us. Okay. So what is the next disadvantages for me? That is, it is not preferable for smaller projects. So we doesn't go and tend to go with the projects. We mainly go ahead with the products for this. Okay, we mainly go ahead with the projects with that. So always remember that whenever you're going with that, the approaches, the models, it is going to define for what type of projects or the products you're trying to go ahead with that. And as I'm saying that, it's a version control model, and it's also called as in basically one-time approach model with this. As both the models are clear.
Oh, sorry, I was in mute. Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's good. Now let us go to the next model called as an VNV. See, all this previous two models was just showing the outer area in the sense, okay, I'll do the testing, okay, we'll do the development. But is that the same? No, it is not actually the same. There are some multiple changes are there. In the sense, multiple process would be going on. Who will do what type of an action, what the developer will do before giving the software to us. Me being a tester, what is the area I'm supposed to perform. So we were saying that, okay, deployment would happen. Okay, here the when I say for the releases, okay, what they used to do here, what type of an testing they are going to perform. Every set of thing, let us going to cover them in the V and V model here. Okay, so let me bring up the V and V model. This is the structure of a V and V. See, the thing is that whenever we see V and V, we doesn't want to feel, oh my God, it is a huge, I need to worry that, okay, this much of testings I need to know. No, process is simple, the same amount of phases, but it is going to define. It is going to define mainly the process. Who is going to do what type of testing, what all will be there, what depth can be performed. Every piece of information would be put up in this V&V model. So what does this V&V stands for actually? We should be knowing the standing of that, right? We call them as in verification and validation model. We call them as in verification and validation model with that. It is important for us to know that what is the name of the or the full form of the V and V. We call them as in verification and validation. The full form of V and V is that, and nobody claims the ownership. In the sense, it is not like, in the sense, if I'm saying nobody, there are many number of people who says that, okay, we taken care of this, we have put at this. There are, so remember that there is a German engineers also who said that we have claimed that V&V has been there. There are other of articles which says that many number of other engineers who have taken care of it. So it depends. It depends what type of people who have taken care of this. So we doesn't choose to name anybody's, that it would be a common model which can be approached for us. Now, if I want to understand the V&V model, if I want to go ahead now, simple. First and foremost, let us understand from 1-1. See, this left-hand area, what you're able to see, this left-hand area called as in the verification. It is called as in the verification. This right-hand area, what you're able to see, is called as in the validation. This we are calling them as in the validation. There's a difference. Verification and validation, there's a difference. Okay, let us go one by one. So let me go take you to first with the basic called as in verification, in the sense validation. We'll go with first acceptance testing, system testing, integration, unit testing. One by one, let us try to understand them, what would be there, how we are supposed to go and work with them. Now, let me list them all. So first and foremost, acceptance testing. Then we have a, within this only, I can call them as an UAT testing also. In the sense, it would be done by separate, but we can categorize them. Then I'm having the system testing. So in the system testing, I have, so let me take out this system testing. So within the system testing, I'm having levels. Remember that levels of testing, that is GUI testing. Then I'm having a functional testing. Okay. Then I'm having a non-functional testing. Then I'm having a usability testing. So these are the four main. Okay, we are going to see each and everything. We'll understand what are those, how we are going to do each and everything. Along with that, so I'm having integration, or I'll put unit testing. Along with that, I'm having integration testing. So if I'm coming up here, now as we saw the image here, see acceptance, system, integration, unit. What we have done, we have put it each of them one by one. Let us understand them. Who? See, basically, these all the testing is defining or showing that which area you are focused and who are performing this testing. So remember that it is not that when, it is saying that who is performing basically these type of testing would be mentioned here. First and foremost, let me go with acceptance testing. What do you mean by acceptance testing? It is a form of testing. Okay. It is a form of testing which would be or which can be performed by any professional to make sure or to check whether they can accept it or not. Okay, so what do you mean by this? How you are going to understand this? Things are simple, very, very simple here. See, the thing is that we'll say that you might be having an house. You are trying to lease them or you're trying to rent them. So whenever you go with that, you go with the documentations. Documentations are very important for us to go and perform this. Now, for an example, we'll say that you have given a rent agreement. I cannot just blindly accept it. What I'll do, I'll see that, I'll read it, I'll go through that, I'll observe that basically. Is it okay? Is it fine? Okay. So is it okay to accept or not? I'm going to check out with this. The thing is that what am I performing here? See, the thing is that I'm performing the acceptance testing here. So remember that I'm trying to perform the acceptance to say that is it okay? Is it fine? Is it worth to accept or not? I'm going to check with that. The same thing here also. The same thing I'm supposed to understand. The same thing I'm supposed to be available here. In a sense, the developer might give a piece of software to us. I cannot blindly accept it. I'm going to check. Is it okay? Is it worth to accept? The sales team might give some documentation to some people. They can see that is it okay to accept. So it can be performed by any person in any form, in any stage. It is not that only one developer tester only need to do. No, business analyst team can do, okay, or the sales team can do, DevOps team can do, testers can do, developers can do, any set of person by with their own forms. Somebody can check the document, somebody can test the software, somebody can go with some process what they have defined. So they're trying to make sure that whether whatever the ways they have given, whatever the documents or software they have given, is it okay to accept it or not? Is it worth to go ahead it or not? They've been trying to check it here. That is what we call it as an acceptance testing. Now, the UAT. What is the full form of UAT? User acceptance testing. See, this is performed by the user and testers. So whenever you are done, in the sense basically once the deployment has been taken care, right? So basically this can be done by two areas. So before the basically what I can just say that the production has been going on, the deployment has been going on in couple of projects. PO, in the sense business analyst or also called as a product owner, will perform the UAT testing. Means from the user end, They're going to check that is it okay to accept, is it fine to go ahead in couple of projects. In couple of projects, what they'll do in the sense, after the basic deployment is done also, they're going to check. So 2 times, but preferable is that before deployment only, they'll see that, okay, testing is done, everything is done from your end. Is it okay to go ahead and give to the real-time users, would be checked by the user acceptance testing, and this is performed. Remember that this is performed by the client end testers. Couple of times, even we would be deputed as a client end testers who would be told to perform the user acceptance testing and take care of ahead of this. Okay, so remember that whenever we go ahead, whenever we perform this, it is very important for us to know that what type of testing we are trying to perform. See, if you could look out here, the thing is that this has been done by any person. Okay, this has been done from the client end testers. What type of client end testers? To make sure that it has been taken care in a proper way. So when it comes to acceptance or user acceptance, it is showing that, or it is displaying that, or it is mentioning that who is performing what type of testing for us. Next comes the system testing. See, these are called as in the levels of testing. Remember that levels, each level. Now, for an example, if there's a human being, we cannot go and just say that randomly, okay, you can, like if he or she is not well. Remember that if he or she is not well, we cannot say that for a general surgeon you're going to show to everybody. No, if there's some heart disease, there would be a particularly heart doctor. If something basically eyes, you would go with ENT. Okay, particularly we are going to see that what the problem is there, to whom we are going to go ahead with that. Okay, so now if I'm coming to the levels, okay, remember that if I'm going with the levels, I'm having 4 levels, which is going to define which area you're going to focus. First is that GUI, graphical user interface. What is the particular graphical user interface is going to define for us? It is going to define what all the areas you are going to cover or you're going to focus in the GUI, in the sense presentation area. See, whenever particularly the thing is that if I'm going with the presentation area, I'm going to make sure that, or we are going to make sure that basically these are all the areas I need to know. Okay, so if I'm going ahead, that checkbox, okay. So I'm really sorry. Checkbox, okay. Radio buttons, okay. Then comes buttons, okay. Then we have a mouse over action. So see the spelling of mouse over, okay. Then we are going to go ahead with the mainly the images. Then I'm having tool tips, okay. Then I'm going to go with the basically the drop downs, okay. Then I'm going to go ahead with next with the screen size, okay. Then I'm going to go ahead with the color of the things. So that would be color, spelling of the color COLOR. Then would be the fonts, font size. If you could observe here, I'm trying to make sure that, or we are going to go ahead with that each and every area what we are supposed to focus. Okay, like each and every area is important. How can I go ahead with that? Let us go. See, let us go with a checkbox. So if I want to go ahead with a checkbox, now if I'm pulling up here, let me go ahead. So let me come back here, or let me say it's an Amazon. Okay, if I'm bringing out Amazon, let me come back and ask that for mobiles. So if I'm just opening this, so if you could observe here, left side there's a checkbox. So if you could observe, the first and foremost is that me as a tester should be knowing that when I'll be using this checkbox. See, it is not that every time you're trying to build some quality, you're going to take care with that. You should know when you're using what type of an actions here. Okay, when you're using what type. Now, for an example, if I'm using the checkbox, if you're having multiple options to be selected, so if you're saying that I'm having a multiple options to be selected, then go ahead with the checkboxes. And checkbox only need to be selected only when you're tapping on this. So if you just tap on this, then select it. It is not that you're tapping somewhere here, say here, you will go and select it. No, it is not good. It is not the possible ways. It is not at all proper. Only it should get selected, unselected only in this particular approach. That is what I'm supposed to test. That is what I'm supposed to go ahead with that. And the representation of the stick mark showing that I'm going with the checkbox. First is that when are we using the checkbox? Second thing is that representation. So proper representation. Third thing is that properly is getting selected or not. You're going to focus on this. It is very important for us to know that when you are going to select what type of things here. Second thing is that radio button. Okay, we'll see that when we're going to go with the radio buttons. If you could observe here, this is what you call it as in the radio buttons. Okay, this is basically the buttons what you're able to see. These are all the radio buttons what you're able to go ahead with this. Okay, now if I want to understand the radio button structure here, observe here, I'll just show you. It is an easy way. If I'm tapping on this, see the inner circle is getting highlighted, the external whatever it is seen there, it is getting unhighlighted. So remember that it is getting unhighlighted for us with that. So the thing is that this radio button, okay, when you're going to use commonly, remember that commonly when you have multiple options, but you need to select few. If you need to select few, then you're going to go ahead with that. See, like there are a couple of times where you are going to give an option where you can use the radio button to select many number of also, but preferable is that basically the thing is that mainly we are going to go when I need to select one particular option, because me as a tester always should be in a place where I can suggest, okay, where I can go ahead and say that, okay, this is okay, this is not okay, this is fine, are they supposed, what they're supposed to use, what they're not supposed to use, everything we are supposed to tell to the developers. We should be in such a knowledge place that it is not that just randomly they have developed, I'm going to test. No, it is not like that. I need to be in a stage where I'm taking care of all of this. This is a radio button. Then comes the tooltips. See, observe here. This is what you call as in tooltips. A tip of a tool, in the sense if you want to add some information, if you want to take care of some information, additional information you need to give, this is what you call as in tooltip. Rohit, is that really important to put the tooltip? I'll show you why. Let me copy all this text. Okay, let me go ahead. So let me add the data here. So this is where the gender is there, right? So let me see where the name of it. Okay, let me open this. Here it is. So in next to this name, if I'm putting all of this data, if you could observe here how it is going to look. It is not okay to look like this. It is it's obviously in a wrong way. It is not proper to see with that. So what they're going to do, if they want to go ahead, if they want to go and say that yes, some couple of data need to be put in, some basic information need to be put in, then we are going to go ahead with that. Then we are going to take care of with that by giving the tooltips. Okay, remember that we are going to go ahead with the tooltips here, which gives an additional information for us. So it is important for us to know that how we are going to go ahead with that. The next thing is that drop downs. See, drop downs is having multiple drop downs: select drop down, bootstrap drop down, hidden drop down. This is a select drop down. Once you tap on this, the values are inherited already. The values are fixed. This is called as an select drop down. Whatever the drop down is visible to you, within this particular drop down, you are going to make sure that you're using them. You are taking care of them. So this is what we call it as in the drop downs. Next comes the toggles. Okay, so I'll show you the toggles in HTML. If you could observe, these are the toggles. You have only option yes or no. If you want to switch them as an yes or no, then you are going to use the HTML toggle. So it is showing you the multiple varieties. Okay, what all the things are there, what all the things I can take care, when I can use, what type of an toggle, what type of an actions. Everything has been mentioned here. Okay, you being a tester, me being a tester, A person being a tester, B person being a tester, never just test by saying that okay, only this they've given for me, I'm going to test them. No, it is not the proper way of testing. Never do the testing in that way. Get to know that why that option has been given, why that radio button, why that tooltip, is it okay, is it worth, is it fine to go ahead. Everything should be taken care in that. So remember that, be aware of that when you're going to use with that. Next comes the buttons. See, buttons always have an enclosed like this. Okay, this is link, this is not a button. Button will always have an enclosed like this, where buttons mainly deal with the like datas. Okay, remember that particularly buttons mainly deal with the data. Okay, what type of data? See, whenever you have a button, whenever you're going to take care of them, you are going to fetch some data or get some data. Now, for an example, if I'm just tapping on this, it is adding some data. Or if I'm taking you to some other page. See, this is a search button. Okay, what it is going to help me? It is helping me to fetch some data. Commonly, buttons perform mainly. Remember that mainly it is going to perform for us the, remember that the data's related actions for us. It is important for us to know when it is going to perform what type of an actions, when am I supposed to use this. Okay, it is very important. Let us know that when am I using, what I'm going to go ahead with that, what type of an approach I'm using, or when I'm going to use with that. It is very important for us to go ahead with this. Now, these are all the first actions. Okay, what all we saw that now, okay, the buttons, everything like tool tips, okay, radio buttons, okay, drop down, checkbox. These are all the actions things what you're able to see. But the thing is that, remember that along with this, we have, remember that main thing called as a mouse hover. What is a mouse hover? Let me bring you to this page. See, I'm just moving the mouse now. I'm not doing anything. If you do this, you could observe here there is a slight change in the color. This is what we call it as an the mouse hover. Okay, mouse hover. This is, you're doing a mouse hover action. So this is what we call, this is basically we're taking care of the action related to the page. So in automation also we're going to do the same way. Okay, in automation also we're going to go ahead and we are going to perform with that. But the thing is that we need to know when we are going to perform what type of an action, what type of things we are going to go ahead with that. So be aware of that. Get to know that whenever you're putting the actions, get to know that what type of an actions you're going to take care with this. Now we put at the mouse over action. Okay. See, let us go with colors. See now, if I'm just coming to this page, for me, this is also black. This is also black. This is also black. Okay. See, we cannot go and say that I'm having this different black, that different black. It is hard. It is hard for us to say that what type of an color it is. In our, remember that in our particular, mainly, okay, in our particular main, in the thing is that where we will be having, remember that, where we will be having the different set of colors, what we're going to look ahead with that. What is the different set of colors in the sense? What are we trying to go ahead with this? Or what is the approach we're going to go ahead with this? See, we are having an HTML colors. Remember that? We're having a HTML colors, what we are going to use with that. So if I'm saying the colors, let me help you with the HTML color codes. If you could open here, if you could observe, this is going to show me the different set of colors which is available for us. Okay, just a minute. It's just taking a bit of second. If you could observe here, it is showing me different set of colors. Okay, what type of colors it is showing me? That basically here it is showing me, if I'm just moving out, you see, there are n number, tons of colors are there. It is not one or two. Tons of colors are available for me. So I cannot go and say that I'm going to have only one color. I'm going to go with this basic color. No, it is really hard for us. It is really hard for us to say that the black color, blue color, dark blue, light blue. No, it is not the way. That is not the proper way to go ahead. What I'm supposed to do? What is the approach I'm supposed to take here? I am going to identify them either by hexadecimal code. Okay, always start with the slash, either with RGB, red, green, blue. Okay, HSL, hue, saturation, light, any one forms. Okay, particularly any one forms, I'm going to go and identify them. Rohit, do we have the names for them? Absolutely. I'll open the names and show you as well. But it is hard for us to identify and take the names. Page is not responsive. Okay, just a minute. Looks like the page is not responsive. Okay. If I could observe here, where is the color code? Okay, if you could observe here, there are multiple colors names. Okay, light salmon, orange red, but it is hard. Remember that it is hard for us to keep them remembered. So what we are going to do, we are going to make sure that we are going to take care of them by the hexadecimal code. Okay, now if I want to go and identify, what is the way to identify? I'm going to show that. Before that, let us go with the font and font colors. How to go ahead with font and font colors with that. What is the approach or the font size of it? What is the approach to understand them? Simple one. Okay, no need to worry too much. Whatever we are seeing in a day-to-day life, the same one. You could observe here. This is in a bit of different size of this. This is in a different size. This is in a different font. The thing is that there are multiple different font sizes. Fonts has been visible for us as well. Now, for an example, if I'm saying that Rohit R. Shetty, this is my good name. Okay. Now, if you could observe, this is the font size what I'm taking care of here. So as per my interest, I can go and change the font size. Now, if you could observe, there is a font as well which is available. See, n number of fonts are available for me. So based on the client request, okay, it is not that based on my request, you request, or anybody's request. Based on the client request, we are going to have the fonts, and combination of multiple fonts has formed the family as well, and has been taken care with that. Now, Rohit, you have been telling me that, okay, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get to know from outside. How can I identify them by having any page like this? Okay, if I want to identify them, I need to use some better things, right? I'm having two approaches. Okay, let me show you two things. Okay, let me take you to simple application so it would be easy for you. If you could observe here, this is a simple one. First thing, the way to identify the UI thing, just do a right click, go for inspect. This is the first way. If you come towards the left side of the arrow, select an element, tap on the, do a mouse hover. You will be able to get the basic information. Remember that you will be able to get the basic information of this. But Rohit, every time it is not possible. I cannot keep on doing. This is an hectic for me. Okay, this job is an hectic for me. I cannot keep on doing this. But what is the second approach I can do? We have couple of extensions what I can use. So let me show you. I'm using the font finder extension. I'll show you how to install as well. If you could just tap on this, I'm going to get all the UI details in the sense which color, which background color, what is the size, what is the fonts they've been using. All the set of information has been given to us, so that if you want to test the UI part, if you want to have a clarity about the UI part, you can use these extensions to make sure that it has been tested in a proper way. So this GUI part is so critical, and also we need to give too much of importance to them, because presentation matters. How it is going to show, it is very important for us. If I want to add them, simple, as we have the Play Store, App Store in our Google, like the mobiles, the same way you're having as a web store. I'll say font finder, Chrome extension. If you're using Microsoft Edge, that is add-ons. If you're using Firefox or Chrome, it is extension only. Just go here. If you ask, like I've already added, so it is showing me remove from Chrome. You can just like add to Chrome. It would be easy for us to identify them. So make sure that we're utilizing them, because testing should be done, but it should be done in a very easy for us way to go ahead. Now, as we were saying that, okay, we are going to focus on these areas, okay? So checkbox, radio buttons, mouse over, like tool tips, font size, font, color, drop downs. Images also matters a lot for us, because whatever the image what you're able to see here, that is also very important for us to go and see with this. The thing is that when the image is going to be very important in the sense, whenever you're switching the size of the screen. Now you could see that, okay, this my laptop might be having some size screen called 1042 is something different pixels with that. Your laptop might be having different, or some other people's laptop might be having different, or if you're opening in the browser, like in the sense, basically from the mobiles also, it would be different. But the thing is that in our organizations, what would happen in the sense, every time you wouldn't be able to find n number of mobiles, in the sense handy mobiles you wouldn't be able handling, or sometimes you mightn't be having other type of an data as well, in the sense might be laptops or tabs, you wouldn't be having that. But we cannot stop the testing. We cannot say that I'm going to stop it. It is not possible. What we're supposed to do, we'll use the simulators or emulators. Okay, that is also added in extensions what we can use, that can helps us to identify how the things can be taken care. Observe here, I'm using a simulator. It's a free simulator. If in the organization, they are going to give you the paid simulators also. What it is going to do, it is converting my web to whatever the mobile view what I ask now. Okay, it might be any mobile view what I'm going to ask. I'm having a n number of list of mobile views here. What I'm using, couple of them are required the subscription, couple of them are giving me the free. Now, if you could observe here how the screen is visible to me, I'll say that let me check them in Samsung Galaxy S20. If you could observe, it is going to get it fitted as per that physical fitness of it. So if I'm saying that I don't have a MacBook now, I'll say that I want to check them in the MacBook. So let me check them in the MacBook. Let us see that how it is going to perform for me. See, the thing is that it is going to fit it. It is supposed to be fitted. It is supposed to be clear. So then only we'll be able to get to know how it is going to take care of this. So remember and be aware of that. Whenever you're trying, whenever you're taking care of that, there's nothing called as stopping. We are having n number of resources available there. Okay. Now, if I want to go ahead with this, I can just go and say that mobile simulator, same way. Okay. If I go ahead to the extension here, I'll ask that mobile simulator. Okay. So here you could observe the first one. This is so good simulator that I can use them. I can test my website. I can test my applications in many number of ways here. So it would be very, very easy for us to go ahead. It would be very easy for us to go and approach with this. So use it. Get to know that, okay, what tools, how I'm using, what all the things. Second thing is that, see, I might be having, I might be converting them. I might be taking care of them. We as a tester should always have a curiosity. What type of a curiosity should be there? See, the developers, the people can go ahead and create n number of softwares. Okay, what is the tools and technologies they have used? At least let us know a few, because if I don't know a couple of them also, it would be hard for us to go and take care of it. But how can I get to know? I might be not knowing, I might be hard, or I can say that I might be introvert to go and ask to the people. Use the extension. Okay, use it here, an extension called as an vaporizer. It is going to give you basic details. It is not going to give end to end, but basic details that what are the tools, what are the things they've used. So you could observe here, they've used the Python to build this application. If you could observe, they have taken care of the .NET framework for this. Okay, for advertisement, they have taken Microsoft advertising. See, the thing is that I, you, A person, B person, N persons might be not even knowing N number of things which are available here. We don't know. We actually don't know what is there, what is not there. We would be able to understand that, okay, what all the things are available. How can I use them to go ahead and approach the ways? So it is important. It is very important for us to learn things, go ahead, approach with that, get to know new things. So when you know what type of technology or tools is available, okay, so we'll have an idea, okay, how I can do the testing. Okay, how and perform. See, you could see that they have done A/B testing. We call it versions testing with that. So they've used the tool called as an Optimizely. So we, couple of us, we did not, we know that, okay, Optimizely was the tool was existing or not. So always we need to make sure that whenever we are exploring, use this tools. Okay, a tool name called as an Vaporizer extension. Free extension we don't want to pay, which can help us to go and explore the things in many number of things. The one of the sad and one of the good things is that there are, okay, around 2 lakhs plus extensions are available. 2 lakhs plus extensions are available, which makes us job so easy, which makes our testing, learning, everything so easy. But the sad part is that most of the test engineers doesn't even use 10 also. That is the saddest part, which is making their job very hard with that. So we should know, we should be able to get to know that what type of an extension I can use, what extension help me to go ahead and perform the things in a more proper way. So always use the extension, first extension for a tester as of now, for in a manual approach, what font to find out the UI part. Second is that Vaporizer to make sure that you're trying to get some basic technology details. Third is that mobile simulator, which can help you to go ahead and understand, get the UI of that, make sure that your software is getting fitted in any such type of a dimension. It would be helpful for us. So all three are free. Everything is available in Safari, Microsoft Edge, Chrome, Firefox, everything. We just need to use them now. So whenever we say that GUI, graphical user interface, we're focusing on all these areas for us. All these areas should be focused, should be seen that how I'm doing, how I'm taking care of this. It is very, very important for us to know with this. Now, next comes the functional testing. What do you mean by functional testing? Hardcore, very important. Any approach, any type of a model, any type of a testing, functional testing is mandatory. Why is that so? Functional testing is so mandatory. First and foremost, simple. Very simple, straightforward. Checking the scope or, okay, behavior of the testing. Okay. So what is the behavior of the testing? See, for an example, let us take that somebody is going to get married. Okay. Nobody is going to just get attracted only by the looks. Just saying that, okay, he or she is looking good. Okay, they have height. Okay, they are beautiful skin. No, none of them is going to get impressed only by this. Their importance is towards the behavior of a person, how they have been behaving, how they have been taking care of the thing. Same approach has been used here. What is this scope? What are we trying to understand the word called as a scope? Very simple, straightforward. We call them as and the for what purpose the application was built. See, every application, as every human is having a purpose, the same way every application is having a purpose. Now, if you could observe here, this, let me come to this application. So what is the scope of this application? To make sure that it acts as a bridge between sellers and buyers. So they can go ahead, they can use that, they can take care of the things. So it is the scope. That is why it has been created. I'll come to this bit. Okay, why it is been used. So it is a demo, basically for Tricentis Academy. So they have kept a demo page. Now, there was a CoWIN web page. What is the scope of this application? It acts as a bridge between the government and in between the people of the India to get their vaccination, to get their certifications, every set of information they were able to see here. Okay, that is what we are trying to see. That is what we are trying to go ahead here. Basically, the thing is that we are supposed to identify for what purpose, for what scope is the application has been created. In this, I'm going to focus on three areas. Database. Second is that cookies. Third is that error handling. So these three are the main for us. Database. See, main thing is that whether am I able to add, edit, delete, update data. Main in that application, is it able to add, delete, update or any data? I am trying to check it here. That is important for us. So when I say that I'm having an application, I'll say that I'm having an application. Either I should be able to add data. Okay, am I able to perform? I'm seeing the actions, whether am I able to perform them or not, whether I'm able to delete, when I'm doing that, whether it is okay, it is not okay. See, now what we'll do, so just let me, just a minute, let me switch the network here. If you could observe here, let me try, I don't have anything connection to the database now. So for an example, I'll say mail, I'll say Rohit, okay, I'll say that Shetty, I'll say that Shetty@gmail.com. So for just randomly, I'm trying to go ahead with that. I'm trying to add a data to the person, in the sense for the database. So I'm trying to add the password. I'll click on register. So it is saying that, okay, email ID already exists. That is good to see that validation has been happening. You could observe now, oh, here also the data is existing. Okay, multiple. So let us create. Okay, you see that registration completed. I was able to add a data. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll try to log in with the same email ID. Let me come back here. Let me give that data here. I'll say that I'll try to see that. Now, see, I don't have the access to database. I don't know anything, but I'm trying to see that. Now I added some data, right? Whether the data is working, whether the data has been able to take care or not, I'm checking. If I'm just logging in, if you could observe here, if it is able to validate, the things are working fine. So that is how, see, that is how we are supposed to see. That is how we are supposed to make sure that whenever we are going ahead, whenever we are performing the functional testing, my first focus is towards the data. In the sense, whether I'm able to add, edit, delete the data or not, I'm trying to check with that. Second thing is that cookies. What do you mean by cookies? Temporary data. Okay, now if you could observe here, I'm not logging out. I'm just closing this. I'm coming once again. I'm saying this application. How could this application was able to come back here in the same moment? Because it stored the cookies. In the sense, in the cookies, which has been storing the temporary data. Remember that? Temporary data has been stored. So, me being a test engineer, I need to see that whether the cookies are stored properly. The cookies are basically stored properly. Is it been taken care? How can I get to know? Very simple. Okay. So basically,
Sorry, Rohit.
hmm,
I didn't get what was the cookies again one more time?
okay, cookies in the sense temporary data. Now, if you could observe here, I'm not logging out. I'm closing this. I'm just opening it once again. You could observe here, it is still able to bring me back to the same page. How come? The browser stored the temporary data, such as your user ID, your session ID, password, or every set of details. So, whenever we are using, we need to check that whether my application is able to capture the cookies or not, in the sense with configuration of that. If I want to check it more thoroughly, I can go ahead to clear the cookies. See, I'll say that delete browsing history. If you could observe here, it is saying that cookies and other site data. If you clear this, see if you could, it has been showing that. So basically, if I'm asking to delete it, all my whatever the temporary data is there, it will get deleted. Everything will get deleted. If you're opening once again the same page, it will be asking you to log in. I'll show you how. If you come for incognito mode, you could observe here. Chrome won't save cookies and site data. So if you're opening anything in this incognito mode, it is just at that moment. After that, it won't be active for us. If in your normal browser, it is going to store all the temporary data for us. So whenever I'm checking the scope of an application, I need to see that whether the application is able to handle the cookies. Third thing is that error handling. See now, for an example, Rohit was supposed to reach the home by 10 o'clock, but he has reached around 11 o'clock. So his father might be scolding him, or his mother might be waiting for him. He has done a mistake. How is going to handle the error? See, there are two types of error. What are those? That are expected and unexpected error. So now intentionally, observe here, intentionally, I'll come to this login page. Okay, I'm putting the email ID. Intentionally, I'm putting wrong. This is an expected error. I'm supposed to see that how the application is able to handle the error. Is it throwing me an error message, or is it behaving in a wrong way? Is it just closing right away? That is what is supposed to be checked here. Unexpected. In between, there might be a network down. In between, there might be a particular something different is going to work on that. So what am I supposed to check here? What I'm supposed to focus here? How the application is behaving when there is multiple number of unexpected errors has been coming that even though however the application is good, even though however the application is nice for us, if it is not able to handle the errors in a proper way, if it is not able to take the things in a proper way, the customer would be not satisfied. So in the functional testing, we are going to focus on these three areas. So it is very important for us to know.